We are live. Hello, Team Destiny. And sometimes the screen is dark, and outside of the fact that these shades, I really can't see you, and I really can't even see myself. So that's quite all right. But I'm dining on pizza right now. Barbecue sauce is on my pizza. I get barbecue after bake. That's what it's called at the place that I go to. Um, Pineapples, basil, mozzarella cheese, and barbecue after bake. So I think I'll dine. You can break bread with me. Let me get my silver, well, not silverware. This isn't silver, but let me get my utensils. If you haven't already, ensure that you post a prayer on our prayer wall. If you have prayer, if you need prayer, if you want to pray for someone, if you are seeking prayer, whatever it is, give God some praise. Thank Him that you are alive. And continue to pray. Our Bible tells us to pray without ceasing. You hear that in a lot of our God is So Good broadcasts, which is just, that's actually one of, well, I don't want to say favorite scriptures, but that's one scripture that it's like a mental bookmark. One that I always just revert to. Pray without ceasing, pray without ceasing. And it ties in beautifully with our topic today that is relating to mood stabilization. So many people ask, take a sip of this first. So I should tell you, if you see me looking down, it's because I think sometimes my hair will be on my arms and I have to brush it off. But I should tell you, I'm dining on my Hawaiian pizza that just has pineapples and basil and cheese with chilled water. That's all this is. But a lot of people ask questions such as, how do I stay happy? Why do I have mood swings? How come my mood is fluctuating all throughout the day? Why am I happy one moment and sad the next? I'm touching the back of the phone to make sure that it's not overheating. So questions like this, quite normal questions, you know. And there are other lurking variables that may change and that may influence. Oh, wow, it always looks so weird when I cut like this. It just looks really awkward on camera. But that's okay. But as I was saying, there are many things, many, that I'm not going to address, that can cause your mood to sway left and to sway right. But the things that I will share with you today, and the techniques and the strategies that I will share with you, I know that regardless of, for the most part, regardless of other lurking variables that may change your mood, if you just practice, if you hone in on these things that God touched my heart with, then I know that you will notice that you're happier, that you're more motivated, that you feel more optimistic, and that your mood is stabilized. Regardless of what life event might occur at that time. Not to say that you won't react. Yeah, not to say that you won't react, but I pray that you will react positively, with sound judgment, with sound reason, and that you will be prepared on how to stabilize your mood after the reaction. There are so many different life events that happen. Losing a job, losing a house, losing a loved one, grief, doubt, confusion, loss, all sorts of things. And then other unexpected events, losing any relative, all sorts of things. But of course, you may not want to stabilize your mood when a great life event happens, or a positive, a plus positive happens in your life. You may not need mood stabilization. But because just in general, life is filled with peaks and troughs and ebb and flows, and nothing, for the most part, certain events don't really stay stagnant. We know for sure that another day is coming, and tomorrow's always in the near future. At least that's how you can think about it. But one thing that I want you to, or one, not even think, one maxim that I want you to remember before I even share how you can stabilize your mood, regardless of what age you are, regardless of your socioeconomic class, regardless of your gender, all of these things that I'll share with you, it doesn't matter any of this. It doesn't matter your status, it doesn't matter your job title. It's just for you. It's applicable to all, really. One maxim that I want you to remember, and I thought about this today, and it came to me, and that maxim and that principle is,
I'll be in the kitchen cooking, and all of a sudden,
I'm gonna save these keys for
and
you.
I'm just there like, wow, like I'm still here, like you guys do that shit by all the
I'm gonna give you the keys, but we don't necessarily have to rush. It's so important to stay hydrated. It's 92 degrees outside. Yeah. So it is so important to stay hydrated. That's, and quite naturally, I know that there's probably some good chemical influence to staying hydrated, drinking good fluids, and your mood being stabilized. Your body needs water. That's for sure.
In March,
but the maxim is,
at City Hall, I'm like, oh,
another day alive is another day well. What did you say, Dustin? Another day alive is another day well.
Like a minimum amount of billable hours.
I say that because usually when folks just randomly ask me, how you doing? How you doing? I usually say, very well. Very well. More than good. Very well. And to make a case in point, I usually say, well, another day alive is another day well. But think about this too. Another day alive is another opportunity to thrive. Wow. I like that rhyming pattern. I like that. If you heard, I've never heard anybody say that, but if you heard it here first. This is exclusive. Another day alive is another day to thrive. I always say every day or every year is at least 365 opportunities. So the reason why I'm anchoring that before getting into ways how you can stabilize your mood is because that should be the overarching theme, that should be the overarching principle that you're anchoring on your subconscious and also on your conscious. That the fact that you have another day, it's always an opportunity to thrive, because essentially you can ponder and you can moan and you can gripe about what's going wrong in your life. But the fact that you are alive, that God gave you life, that your eyes are open, that is such a blessing. It's easy to lose sight of that in the midst of when your mood is destabilized rather than stabilized. But you're alive. And if you have the priceless blessing to even watch this teaching, because God knows who the message is for. God may want only one person to hear this message. Therefore, one person will hear the message. They will share it with whoever they know. The exponential impact is amazing. The numbers would never be able to show the exponential impact. God can say that this message is only for 5 people. Only 5 people may be ready to receive this message. And then those 5 people will share that. And then the people that they share it with share. And the people that those people shared it with share. So the metrics don't show the analytics, but the principles reign true. And the principles reign supreme. One way to stabilize your mood is to pray. You see how it's tying together. If you're still with me on this broadcast, we're 10 minutes in. you have to pray without ceasing. Give it to God. Just pray. Next way. Exercise. It doesn't have to be strenuous. It can be walking. It can be stretching. Just get your cells moving. Get your muscles moving. You know, a lot of times if you feel drained, and if you feel like your thoughts aren't flowing, if you feel like there's no fluidity with your thought process, stretch your body. It's all connected. Your mind, your mood, your spirit, your soul, your body. It's all connected. Sometimes you just have to get up and stretch. It doesn't have to be for 1 hour either. It can be for 1 hour. But it can be for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to exist. And whether it exists for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, you're stretching or your exercise or whatever you enjoy doing. Doesn't matter the time frame. It just has to exist. So moving from prayer and moving from exercise. Let me clean up here. A little bit of cheese spilled on the table. As a good Samaritan, I like to leave my table clean so that it's clean for the next Samaritan and clean for the next person. So moving from prayer and exercise, you have to tell yourself positive affirmations. You have to think positive. Even if you tell yourself, you know, I'm just going to work on, if you tell yourself, if you set a goal to work on stabilizing your mood. You may not know how to do it, but the fact that you literally said that and the fact that you literally told yourself that, your mind is like, okay, that's something that's on the to-do list. That's something that's necessary. I saw that a comment populated, but I didn't see it because when I first started the broadcast, I said that the screen is kind of so dark that I can't see the comments. So outside of positive affirmations and exercising and praying, also consider surrounding yourself with folks who you find, I usually say positive, but for this we're taking it, we're shedding light on a different angle. Okay? Surround yourself with folks who embody a calm spirit. If you find that the folks in your peer group or the folks that you're talking to or confiding in, if they're very reactive and their emotions are all over the place, then quite naturally that's going to rub off on you in a way that may be negative. If you need your mood to be stabilized, or if you would like your mood to, your thought process to embody and to echo stabilization, balance. See, that's the key word. That's the word I was looking for, Team Destiny. That's the word that God just touched my heart with. Balance. So yes, the person can be positive, but the person should be calm. Now, when you're in the work environment, or let's say you could be walking, you could be at work, you could be traveling, you could be on the road. Don't expect to meet folks who are calm. Folks' moods are all over the place for reasons that we don't even have to discuss. The bigger picture is not to focus on them, it's about you. How do you react? Are you going to let an uncalm spirit shake things up for you? No. Not as a beacon of love and light. You remain prepared with the tools and with the teachings and with the principles. Also, you can read Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengtheneth me. You know? Another day alive is another opportunity to thrive. I can do all things through Christ that strengtheneth me. That relates to positive affirmation. I'm not going to say that you necessarily need a mentor. Not in regards to mood stabilization. There's nothing wrong with it. But I pray that you are able to function with guidance from our Heavenly Father, but also yourself as well. I truly believe that you embody the strength and the will and the know-how to be able to stabilize your own mood when you need. So it's nothing wrong with having a mentor, but this is about you. This is a teaching for you. Your mentor may not be available when the table is shaking. I hate when it does that. Your mentor may not be available at that time or in that space when you may need mentorship. That's totally fine. Things happen. But I just pray that you possess the tools and the knowledge and the resources and the drive and the motivation and the determination and the perseverance and the resilience so that you can thrive. And so that you can stabilize your mood if necessary. In addition, this teaching, I'm going to illuminate the last strategy. This teaching would not be complete without it. Many people infer that in order to keep themselves happy, they have to just make themselves happy or only benefit themselves. Wrong. Incomplete. You want to stabilize your mood? You want to feel fulfilled? You have to help others. You have to volunteer. You have to invest your time into doing something good for somebody that may have less than you financially, physically, or spiritually. At this time, believe it or not, I'm not even going to tell you how you can help. Why? Because I believe in you. I know that you have everything inside of you to make that decision. And if you don't have it in you now, God will bring it to you. But God will touch your heart on how you can give. God will touch your heart and your spirit on where you can give. And God will touch your heart and your spirit on when you can give. And God will also touch your heart and your spirit on how much you can give. It all depends. But I truly have to say that there's just something. It's like the reciprocity principle. There's just something so meaningful about, rather than working on yourself, which you should always couple something with, or not even something. I'll be more descriptive. You should couple your life. Oh, I was looking. Okay, it's the 4. Okay. You should couple your life with helping others. It just does something. It's one thing when you accomplish something, but when you help another person that is truly in need, a person that is truly in despair and desolation, it does something so beautiful to the spirit. It does something so beautiful to the soul. Magnificent, incredible, splendid, superb. Be a doting helper. Mm. And I'm not finished with you yet. God has something else that you should know. God knows there's something else that you should know, and I'll say it right now. I'll say it for you.
How is that you
To stabilize your mood, you have to practice forgiveness. Destiny, what does forgiveness have to do with mood stabilization? In response, I ask, have you ever heard of resentment? Have you ever heard of holding a grudge? I'll ask a follow-up question. When a person feels resentful, or when a person is holding a grudge, is their mood typically stabilized or is it destabilized? Is their mood typically calm or uncalm? Is their mood typically positive or negative? Bottom line, resentment and holding grudges can create collateral consequences, and resentment leads to residual resentment. Holding grudges leads to residually holding grudges, which can lead to residual moodiness, essentially, because a person starts pondering on the past, thinking about what it is that irks them or what has irked them or what they are resentful about. They may not know how to necessarily identify their emotions. Not everybody knows how to say, ooh, I'm feeling resentful right now. Oh, I'm holding a grudge. But it's happening all the time. So forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made, and forgive others as well, because we do know that our Bible says, first of all, our Bible discusses forgiveness, and you have to forgive others so that the Lord will forgive you. You can read more about that in Matthew. So if nothing else, from this teaching, if there's nothing that you gather, I pray that your mood is stabilized. I pray that, like mentioned in the beginning, You embody the spirit of the maxim of another day alive is another day to thrive. I truly believe that you will be blessed, and I pray, like usually is always said in the description box, that this teaching blesses your, if it's ready for you, if it's for you, and if God has it for you, that this teaching blesses and continues to bless your mind, your motivation, and your mood.